Oh, dude, he shot him in the dick. Huh? That's not cool, Butters. You don't shoot a guy in the dick.
What is up, fans? And well, that was Eric and Butters, and they were definitely letting us know what we don't do, and we all know that. That's not something new to us.
We don't do that.
We know that. So yeah, so that's where we're at. We're glad you're here to join us here on the Raw Preview review show, brought to you by the one, the only in your house, courtesy of Window Liquors. We're here, guys. It's been an interesting last week of news coming out, especially towards the end of the week. Things we're going to cover, things we're going to talk about. But before we get into it, fellas, like always, how's it been going? How have you been since last Monday? Any new news out there for either one of you?
Well, I have been trying out the new Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh, it's so good. I got it too.
We'll
have to co-stream one of these times. Grunt, it'll be a fun time.
You on PC?
Oh, fine. Nah, I'm on PlayStation.
Yep. No. Yeah. Sorry. Most of my friends
fuck it up, Grunt.
Oh no, you're good,
dude. Let's be honest. Sony.
It should be cross-platform. Is what it
should be.
This one specifically, it should be. Yes, that is one thing I definitely agree with. Since there is really no, there is no PvP at all, so
no,
it's not an issue. But I will say this: if anyone is interested in trying it out, do so with friends. Randoms. It is roll a 20-sided dice. That might tell you how it's gonna go.
Yep,
19 times out of 20, it goes badly.
Well, it happens though, Grun. You know,
it does.
You take that risk when you jump into the games, expecting other people to love it as much as you and want to be on your level.
It'll weed people out over time.
It will.
Oh yeah,
it will.
Games like that will.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, have you been having fun with it though, Grun?
I have been enjoying it. I'm actually one of the few people that I know in my personal circle that has gotten through 6 of the Night Lords.
God damn, I think I got through 2.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
In fairness, I've only played one day with friends while, let's say, having copious bevies.
Chris knows all about that.
I mean, like the first Night Lord. It was stupidity that me and my partner were able to beat him. The third quit before the first Night Lord for the first boss of day 1, and then me and Archer were just. I was a raider. We were just we had to haul ass, do the best we could, and we won. 2 people beat.
It's possible.
Gladius or whatever the hell it is. Gallia.
It was a 3-headed beast, right?
Yep.
That's the
3-headed fox.
Yeah, you have to beat him first.
Yep. Before you can unlock any of the other Night Lords.
Yeah. We tried to do the Equilibrious goat after that. It was a bad choice. We gave up on him 4 runs. We did 4 runs and we're like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, no. I also hate that his weakness is madness, because you know what? It's almost impossible to do damage to him do damage with madness.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense for 3 spellcasters to team up.
Yeah.
No, definitely doesn't make sense.
Just
but
silly.
It's a way to play the game if you want to play the game that route.
I mean,
it's just going to make it a lot more difficult for you. So enjoy.
It's not easy, man. I haven't been here for 2 weeks, right? Yeah, I've been falling hard into the Diablo hole. In 3 weeks' time, in this season, I think I went from I don't know how much. I don't know how I got all of this free time, but all of it was spent playing Diablo 4, and I went from level 1 in like 3 weeks to Paragon level 160. So suffice to say,
man,
you've been working
when
hard.
Did you sleep?
I didn't sleep beforehand. So what changed? I've been somehow. I don't know how my ADHD has supermaxed over the last 3 weeks. But I've been able to like do business calls, do show running things, do festival stuff, and still play Diablo and hang out with Annie. So it's been a lot. But you know what? I fell into today, actually. I was taking a break from Diablo. A buddy came over. and I played Balatro for the first time. And I swear to God, I'm addicted to it. It has everything I've ever wanted in a roguelike. It's gambling, it's chance, it's whatever I need it to be. I'm just playing poker against these fucking clowns.
I love it. I actually dove back into Dead Island 2.
Oh, that's a good game. I almost platinumed that game.
Yeah, I'm going through it and trying to get the things I didn't get through the first playthrough. So yeah, fun game, fun stuff. Sounds like everybody's diving into their own little world and enjoying whatever the hell they're giving us to enjoy with, medieval, zombie apocalypse, and devilish type things with Diablo, which I absolutely love. Diablo, one of the best games ever created.
So good.
And you can get so addicted to that damn game.
Yes, you can.
Oh, and here we go. We got Nick already chiming in. He's saying, well, if it isn't House's Hooligans,
that's not wrong.
That. I like
not
that.
Wrong.
And he's wanting to know, what's up, fellas? What's up, Nick? We are just here talking before we get into Raw and all these things happening, a little bit of video games. But we're going to transition to a little bit because, Kevin, you were the one who was pretty excited about talking about this.
Excited is one word.
Grun was, he's definitely been throwing some things out
Inspired
there.
is a good way to put it.
Let's kick off with this one because, and Grunt, you did bring this guy up earlier.
I did
with his. Let's look at what Carlito had to say here. Oh, that made it look really ugly.
Oh God, it's so stretchy.
So stretchy.
We're sorry, Carlito.
Okay, so Carlito saying my contract is up in 2 weeks. It will not be renewed. On top of that, WWE is demanding I pay back the money they paid me for apparently stealing money from the company. I've had my lawyers look into it, and after reviewing my footage on Netflix for the past months, they suggested I pay them back the money. All jokes aside, gracias WWE, and especially the WWE universe.
Los quiero mucho.
I believe that says I love you much, very much. What did that?
Yeah, I only know Quiero from the Taco Bell dog when I was younger.
So. Yeah.
Pretty sure he said, I love Taco Bell, so I'm going to say I much love or something like that is probably the sentiment.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's where he's coming from there. Again, one of those things where you can see the humor in Carlito and what he's putting out there. But there is some bit of sadness to it. I mean, Carlito's kind of resurgence as of recent years, for at least me. We're also getting hit in the chats here, guys. We got House. We're your hooligans, and we're glad.
Congrats to your Pacers, House.
Yes, Pacers did win. They are going to the finals. We got the Lou bearded strong style. Happy Monday, guys. I love it. Translate. Yes, thank
Google
you.
Translate. That's fair. We could have been more prepared, I suppose.
We got Annie chiming in. She's saying more things.
Lo siento. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, see, yes, this is true. Yes, we understand. God dang, we got hit. You know, this is insane. Three white guys can barely pronounce Spanish terms, and then all of a sudden we get lit up. But I love it. I love it.
3 white Americans can't speak other languages. News at 11.
Yeah, and then Grun comes out and he's like, actually, it's this. This Philly dialect over there?
The only reason why I know Los Santo is because I sometimes listen to Diamante, who has put out a song a while back. I'm sorry, and put out a Spanish version of the song. That's the only way I know what Los Santo
is. How you know your Spanish.
That's the only reason I know that.
Yes, and they're enjoying it. our fans are really getting a
Laughing
kick
it
out
up.
of us. Yes. Yeah, and yes, I do have a luchador mask here. Yes, I do. But I
Hey, I
am
just
not
got one
throwing that
too.
on.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll do a
Grande
show in our
Americano,
mask
isn't
one
it?
day. That'll be fun. So again, we're back to Carlito leaving. I just pulled that one out for an example of what we're going to be talking about. So whoever wants to take over, you go ahead and talk about who got released in your world, and let's discuss it.
I mean, it's hard to talk about any of them without talking about the biggest one to me, and that was R-Truth. Regardless of what the circumstances are, and I think I mentioned this in the chat, and I'll bring it up again here. Regardless of what the circumstances are, the fact that they have to put the words "released R-Truth" into the internet was a death sentence for them. Not just not like kill the company death sentence, but like this is going to be bad publicity no matter what happens. Even if what happened was they came to the table and R-Truth was like, "Hey, I want to keep that money," and they're like, "Well, we can't do that." Or if R-Truth looked at the contract, he's like, "I don't want to sign another one." Yep. Maybe he just wants to go home. There's a lot to it. But this is a bad look for WWE one way or another, because they're losing someone who is universally beloved by the locker room and the fans. This isn't like, and this is no shot to this guy either, but Braun Strowman wasn't a locker room leader. So with him being gone, it doesn't hurt as much. But R-Truth has been entertaining us for 20 plus years in a comedy role that's been beloved. That's like when they got rid of Santino. You don't want to get rid of Santino, but R-Truth had way more value than Santino because he was also a locker room leader that was giving them a lot of stuff in the back. So I guess I bring this up, and I'll open this up after I say it. If this is how they're going to get rid of the vets, and they're going to look at it more of a sports-based mentality, because generally speaking, when you look at football, people don't last past like 35.
Yep.
And they're going to look at it like, oh, the young come in and the old go out, the old take shorter or the smaller contracts. That's not how it works in wrestling, because there needs to be enough people in the back to teach the new generation how to do the things. It isn't like coaches in the Pee Wee League that can bring them up. It doesn't work that way. So I'll open this. How are they going to treat locker rooms and like agents and just legends in general going forward if this is the precedent they're going to set?
Yeah, that's a good question. Go ahead, Grun.
Yeah, so like TKO showed early on that they were willing to let Triple H and Nick Khan run the WWE. It definitely seems to be the sentiment that this was a TKO decision, not a WWE decision, where they were politely encouraged to let go of some of their veteran talent, especially the ones that are around 50 years old. R-Truth being one of them, Carlito probably being close to 50, but also they probably looked and saw Carlito wasn't doing much, so why sign him? And we are now once again in pro wrestling seeing what happens when somebody gets into the industry that doesn't fully understand the industry. They were better off letting Triple H and Nick Khan run WWE, and when they said, no, we can't release this guy because of the impact they've had on the locker room, because the impact they've had on the fans, and you need to listen. I suspect that what we've seen, and Lou alluded to it, Miz, Gunther, and I'm guessing we're going to see a lot more that are going to make a stand against it. And I don't think Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Roman, CM Punk, or Sami Zayn are going to, or Jey Uso or Cody Rhodes, I don't think they're going to remove WWE from their profiles, but I imagine they're all going to go to Triple H and Nick Khan and probably asked for time to speak with TKO, with the TKO higher ups, and say, hey, listen, this is not going to go over well. Think if you want an example of what's going to happen, think about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan wasn't supposed to succeed. Vince McMahon did not think he was going to be the guy. The fans forced them to accept him to be the guy. Yeah.
Just to address Nick's thing too.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from. I do. Because you're saying it's just a small amount of TV time that they're essentially losing, right? With truth being gone.
Sure.
I don't disagree with that. That's not what the issue is, in my opinion, in the slightest. It's not about replacing him on TV. They will replace him on TV and it'll be fine there. What's going to suffer is the backstage morale. And what's going to suffer is people feeling like their jobs aren't there anymore. This isn't a question of can they fill R-Truth's boots. They can't, because no one can do the comedy shtick that R-Truth can. There's nobody in the wings that they have.
True.
That being said, they will fill the TV time with something equally entertaining, I'm sure. They have been pretty good about that. But again, that isn't the problem. The problem is the hole that he leaves in the back.
Exactly. But can we pump the brakes, guys? Because we don't know what the new Legends contracts look like under these guys.
And they have to offer one of truth.
All we know is that they're not renewing these contracts.
Correct.
Agreed.
So what if the Legends contract looks way better? What if it looks more fitting to their schedules? I mean, Miz has kids getting older. He's been doing this for quite a while. Putting him on a Legends contract to where he comes back maybe 3 months out of the year is perfect for what we get really out of the Miz. I mean, yes, have in the past few months, have we been shown a little more Miz than normal? Yeah, because there's been a storyline based around him. He's injected himself in things and it's become very, mellow camp Miz. I like it. I liked when they were pushing that. So all I'm thinking is right now, because everybody on the dirt sheets is just throwing shade, you know how they are out there.
I'm not ready to throw any kind of shade. I'm just worried about what happened.
No. I understand where you guys are coming from. I'm speaking more towards the dirt sheets and those guys where they're out there saying things like Triple H got rid of R-Truth because he doesn't want black people.
That's
like
ridiculous.
That's shit. That shit that they're putting out there on Twitter, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. I believe Annie even alluded to it in the chat earlier that they were lighting up Triple H, and I honestly I don't know. At some point in time, I feel like I can't speak about these issues, but I don't see it. I really don't. But maybe I'm blind to it, and that's a good possibility. But hopefully, like I'm putting all my eggs in this Legends contract basket and looking at it. And for them to take all mentions of WWE off of their profiles, why can't we live in a world where that's an angle?
Yeah. I don't see where, I don't think Truth's is an angle, but I could see Gunther's being an angle. Or I could see Miz's being an angle, or I could see something else as being an angle.
Okay.
Yes, released and contract not being renewed is different. How they phrased it was a release. No, how R-Truth phrased it was a release.
Yes.
I think that he was released, but he didn't have long on his deal anyway, so his contract was expiring. I don't really know. My gut tells me his contract's going to expire and they're just going to assign him to a Legends deal.
Yeah. So that Randy here makes a good point, because I did listen to a bit of this interview Swoggle did, that they're calling it a nostalgia deal. Now, I didn't think too much of it earlier, but now I'm wondering if maybe it's not the same thing as a Legends deal.
Probably not. I mean, backstage morale is a loose term, I guess. But realistically, man, I don't see where you're coming from at all.
No,
because this is me coming from a dude who's been in the back of those locker rooms. If morale's bad, the whole show suffers. It's just like if a football team goes out there and their captain got, attacked and got ran over by a car or something. It's the same basic premise as a morale hit. I'm not just saying.
I know, but
R-Truth being released is the equivalent of a bunch of people in that backstage area getting their dog kicked. Like that's how it is.
Yeah,
it threw me for a loop to hear that.
And it is WWE, and they are a machine. I don't disagree.
Yeah,
but it's not. Even this is a perplexing business move to me because it's bad business.
So Nick, are you saying that like that WWE should have just released Stone Cold Steve Austin because of his injuries? Because we have Triple H. Saying we should release Ric Flair because we have Stone Cold or what? Or like
I'm also. He's also. I agree. We already talked about the released versus renewed too. By the way.
Yeah, that was covered with Annie.
Yeah,
when she asked the question.
But my point is that R-Truth on screen hilarious, but same time look at everyone that's commented on his. And I'm not talking about the fans. Fans, sure, they got their talking about Natty, talking about Miz, talking about everybody who has been up and down the road with R-Truth, who's in the cars, backstage, in the ring. They are upset about this. They would not be. They were not this upset about Braun Strowman. They were not this upset about Gigi Dolan, about Cora Jade. They were not. R-Truth made an impact on people. When someone makes an impact on you and you respond in this type of manner, or so publicly, and I'm guessing they pick their words very carefully because they don't want to ruffle the feathers of the upper ups, but they want to make it known like, hey, please bring him back.
I'll cover Annie's thing real quick. I can tell you exactly what Saturday Night Main Event was now, because this wasn't sudden to them. They knew it in the back, I guarantee you. This is something he released the news of after they were done with the stuff that he needed to do on TV. So this isn't something people think that this is sudden. It wasn't sudden, I promise you. This was something that they talked about. R-Truth got the respect that he needed to from the people. From the people in the back, he got that respect. So I'm not arguing that part. I'm arguing that this is a bad press release looking for WWE one way or another.
Yes.
And I also think I agree with Nick to an extent. I don't need R-Truth on TV at this point. I don't need him week to week on TV. I think he's done his part. There are people who need TV time that are coming up. And you're looking at the future generation. I agree on that aspect. What I don't agree with is, and I don't know what happens next. So I also want that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens next to his role and what he wants to do as a person until they talk about it, or until he talks about it realistically. Maybe he wants to go off and finish his rap career strong. He does that too. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Maybe he wants to go and be with family. I can't speak to any of that. So I'm not upset in the sense that R-Truth got released. I'm not. Because I know that they figured that out beforehand, before he talked about it. I guarantee you. And they gave him his send-off by giving him a match with Cena. That was the pinnacle. That was his reward. That's what he got.
Yeah. Well, apparently we got Nick going.
Apparently me agreeing with him was a problem.
Yes.
What I don't know, what I don't think is a good thing is WWE. WWE is going to look like the bad guy one way or another here because of other factors. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not about the person. It's about what he represented when they got rid of him.
Mm.
And they really needed R-Truth not to announce anything before they figured out what to do next. Because it's either going to be a Legends deal, because that'll soothe some of the fans and anarchy with it. Or like a backstage role would have been good to transition him to. Bobby Roode did that famously. And they didn't have to go through a whole release record of it. To me, the issue is the press release, not the thing that happened, because it's clear that they agreed upon what happened.
Mm-hmm. No, and what you're saying makes sense. I do agree. here's the thing. R-Truth has been with the company for so long, and he's been that guy, just much like a Cena, who, when certain things aren't panning out, you can get that Mick Foley cheap pop by putting R-Truth into it, saying something random. There's a whole goddamn game that they just released where once you finish it, you're pretty much in the world of R-Truth, and you get to time travel and do all that stuff with them. And it's fun. So are we at the point to where maybe the world has hit to where R-Truth isn't needed in the ring for this generation? I don't know. All I know is that there will be more of this to evolve in the next couple days.
We realistically have very little information, just an insane reaction from people. That's all we have. So it's more me calling attention to the fact that this could get bad quickly if it's not. Yes, it wasn't an official press release from WWE. It was from R-Truth's X account. So could this still be a work? Yes, this is WWE. Anything could be a work. Can't stress that enough. Yeah. I'm going to go off face value and assume that this is a thing. And if I get worked, awesome. Love it. I don't care if I get worked because that just makes it better for me later.
Yeah. And Nick, I agree real quick, Kevin. I don't mean to cut you off, but Nick, I agree with where you're coming from. But when I did talk about my subject, I said we're going to pump the brakes on this, and I'm going into this Legends deal, things like that. I don't think it's as gnarly as everybody is trying to stir it up to be. I mean, this isn't, the Benoit story. This isn't anything like that. It's just somebody's getting to a point in a company that they're starting to reevaluate. And if this doesn't turn out to even help them in ratings and things like that, and fans go away from that, secret time, this business likes to make money. So they'll go back to what made them money.
Yeah,
just
they
like
always
that.
will. To clarify, Nick, I don't think I was ever angry. I just very much questioned a lot of the points.
Yes. Yeah, I've never seen Kevin angry. I don't even know if it's possible. I'm sure it's possible. He's human, we think. But it was just a discussion that we definitely wanted to talk about, and get it out there and give our perspectives on it.
At this point as well, Annie, I'm waiting for the official release because there's nothing more that we can possibly speculate. There just isn't until we have more info. And I hope and that's where it comes in to lighten the mood.
R-Truth absolutely.
If it's an April Fool's joke.
R-Truth absolutely would do that.
Yeah.
He shows up on Raw, yells, "April Fools!" Everyone loses their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Well, and Annie's letting us know it is possible for Kevin to get upset. So that's good to know. We are glad we have Annie here.
It takes a lot.
Well, yes. And, like I said, we were just here to discuss this. And honestly, if we're in Vegas right now, Kevin and Grun, and we're up at there and we're making bets at the sports bar, I'm betting this is a work.
Sure.
That's where I'm putting my money. This is a work.
I think even if it's not, a work, I think that there's a decent probability he comes back one more time for this Cena run to do something, a one-day thing, a whatever. He'll do an appearance. I don't think it's the last we see of R-Truth in WWE, but it will be the last he's under the lucrative contract that he had. That's what I would describe.
Let me fantasy book this and
hit me.
Let's
hit me, brother. We should probably talk about Raw at some point, but please,
real quickly. Joe Hendry gets his match against John Cena. R-Truth comes out, interferes, and I don't know. This is a non-title match or for the title, but Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation, and and so now you have Superfan R-Truth helping Superfan Joe Hendry battle John Cena.
And Superfan Grun comes.
There was nothing
I had to bring it back to window lickers, buddy.
I know you did.
No, I think it would be fun because they're already playing in the world of WWE guys are taking TNA titles and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. Right now, anything's up in the air. You could throw out any possibility, and you have a percentage of it actually possibly happening. So, like Kevin, like Grun, and like me, we'll put a pin in this because we're going to get more information coming out,
Yeah.
everybody. So let's pump our brakes. Let's go to Midas. Let's get all the checks, and then we will discuss it when we have more information. So let's move forward. Who wants to discuss their topic?
Oh, actually, I'll take this because I think it's going to go into it's going to go into this weekend, really. When's Money in the Bank? Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend.
Cool. It goes right into that then. The last announced Money in the Bank qualifiers solidified who I think isn't going to win the men's Money in the Bank.
Really?
Yes. It won't be Punk or Rollins. It will not be them. They are too tied together, and either Punk gets costed by Rollins tonight and then costs Seth, or they're both in the match and they cost each other. So on that note, with the last qualifiers, because the women's was announced as well, we have Stephanie Vacour's first match officially on the Raw roster versus Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile. I'll ask your opinions on who you think is going to win that, but I get the feeling it's going to be unanimous.
I think so too.
Who you got winning Money in the Bank, boys?
The whole enchilada, huh?
Damn.
Because now we're assuming, I don't know who the men's qualifier is, but I think it solidifies who isn't going to win the thing now.
Yeah. They seem to really want to push that.
They're pushing Rollins Punk some more with a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah. And I think it's right before we get into the depths of the ideas of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you might be correct in that one because why waste putting a title in the mix of that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't need it. It's just extra toppings that is going to dilute the meal.
And you can revisit it later when Rollins has the title.
Exactly. Perfect. In my heart of hearts, I want to say Andrade, just because I know I could personally develop a story that would make him very captivating inside this match, and it would bring in the Lucha Bros and things like that. I've discussed my ideas with Andrade. So in my heart of hearts, that's who I want it to do because I want to see that story kick off.
Sure.
Man.
It's a tough pick now.
It really is
before the Punk announcement, I would have said Rollins.
Yeah. That's where I was going to go with because, why wouldn't we have Rollins with a briefcase running around? Gosh dang, Grun, do you even know yours?
I think I do, and Kevin, everything you said makes sense. I'm looking at it. I'm eliminating LA Knights. He's not winning. I don't think Andrade is going to win. So that left Solo and Penta. But with that, I'm thinking, I don't think you want to give it to Penta because I think that would lead to him losing his cash in. And I don't want
I agree.
that. Solo has a story with Jacob Fatu that I believe is going to lead up to WrestleMania 42. So I'm with all your logic, Kevin. I'm going to go against what you're saying and say Seth Rollins wins.
Okay.
I'm going against you, Grun, and going Solo.
Solo. Okay.
I don't think
Solo is out of line.
The dynamic of him having something more than Jacob and then diminishing what Jacob has, I think that draws more heat, more fire, more flames, and it's going to make that even more exciting.
Maybe. I've been proven wrong before.
If Seth Rollins wins, it will be by revealing whoever a fourth member is. It won't be with the current iteration.
Oh.
I guarantee.
So you think there's another guy going to be coming
in? Oh,
in?
yeah.
I think so. I think one more.
I'm certain.
What are they doing? The Dark Four Horsemen?
Yeah,
the dark side of the Four Horsemen.
That's again, that's has two ifs to it. One,
Yeah.
if they do put a fourth person in it, I do think they're going to do it, but it's if. And two, I just don't know. I don't know where Punk fits in at that point. Punk would have to be in the match and get screwed over. He would have to be about to win. And I also think I agree with something that you brought up earlier. I think whoever wins this year loses the cash in. We haven't had a lose in a while. Or no, we did have one last year with Drew. But we haven't. I don't see anyone who needs this briefcase.
No.
Seth has 3 heaters. He just throws the weight around. He doesn't need the Money in the Bank.
Besides,
statistically speaking, 80% of men who've cashed in have gone on to win. 20% haven't. So, and they brought that up. And Kevin, we all know, and Grun, you know too, when they bring up little things like that, sometimes it's a couple breadcrumbs to lead you down the path.
Yeah. But in that sense, this is going to be a wild pick. Because it involves someone qualifying tonight. So I might be wrong immediately.
Here we go.
Okay. I think Rollins screws over Punk tonight. I think he screws him out of the Money in the Bank qualifier. It's a no DQ match. It's a triple threat. It's easy for any of his goons to step in.
Yeah.
I think Styles wins this match. And I think Styles gets the Money in the Bank. And I'll tell you why.
Wow.
I will tell you why. I will tell you why. This is
guys.
This is a wild callback. And this is a wild thing for them to do in general. So we're going down this line, and I'm taking an underdog in this.
Okay.
Styles has mentioned in a lot of the things leading up that this could be his last run. This could be his last run. This could be the thing. Styles wins the briefcase and calls his shot. He doesn't cash in and turn heel or something. He calls a shot of a match and then loses.
Oh, man.
That furthers his stuff more than anything he could do holding it.
Well, you're not wrong there, but the visual I don't want to see. I want to see him win it, you know?
I get it. I know.
I want him to call a shot and hit that grand slam.
Voice, that comes later.
Yeah. But it's my champion, and I want him now.
I think because then you can have an AJ Styles Rollins match whenever Rollins takes the title.
No, I love that.
And I think that's something that has a lot of money in it, and you don't have a lot of time to do it. Because I don't know how long AJ is for this. And if we're already getting rid of people because they feel like we're getting older and they're ready to go and they're ready to take the bailout deal, Styles might be next. So make sure you get the rest of that out before he's gone, because he's already openly talked about retiring for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. To me, with the names that have been released, or been in that talk, AJ's name is way more valuable than theirs. Not
I
to
don't
be
disagree.
Any disrespectful. I'm just speaking what I see, and I think because there was a long list of years of where fans were like, when are we getting AJ?
Yeah.
And then he finally
don't
came.
Get me wrong. I feel there is still more money in AJ than some of the ones that have been released and on-screen TV wrestling. So I agree.
But you're talking about him retiring on his own.
I'm talking retire on his own terms, because I believe I might be wrong and misremembering this. So I might need a Google search. But I think he signed a new contract and then he said, "This is my last contract." Gotcha. I don't know when that contract ends though, and I don't think he publicized when it ended.
No, but he has said, I believe last time we spoke with Chris Van Vliet, is that he wants to be done at 50, and he just turned 48. So we can
2 years.
We can guess that it's about a 2-year contract.
Yeah. See,
so
and now
and something to further him going forward into one last quality run would be great.
Exactly, and we got the Lou agreeing with that. And speaking of the Lou, I think he's around the area of hometown AJ Styles, isn't he, Grun?
Oh.
I
In
think
that
so.
area?
Lou
He,
is outside Atlanta,
yeah,
and everywhere is close in Atlanta or Georgia.
yeah,
Just
and AJ is definitely known down there. He's like their Chipper
AJ
Jones.
AJ Styles from Gainesville, Georgia, has always been from Gainesville.
Yes, you gotta love a guy like this, and I love what Annie said here because Annie, I'm there with you. It felt like the sun went out for me too, but we all have those instant reactions, but when Kevin breaks it down, you understand exactly what he's saying with it, and it makes actual legit sense that gives him more value than you just giving it to him.
Making him work
Because in this
towards it
world,
would be
you're
better.
always wanting that exactly, and that's what keeps us captivated and coming back each week.
Mhm.
So yeah, that I love that. So Grun,
That didn't
Yeah.
even cover the women's match.
it
Which,
didn't. Do you want to cover that for your subject, Grun?
oh no. I mean, that's up to
Or
Grun. That's you, Grun.
we'll do a quick run before we go off
Yeah.
of it.
Women's match. I think it's almost too obvious who's gonna win that.
Okay, well then give us your subject then.
Yeah. My subject is gonna be based around what I'm guessing is a main event tag team match tonight. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso battling Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, I agree with Kevin that there is going to be a fourth wrestler added to this new Dangerous Alliance group that Seth Rollins put together with Paul Heyman. And my question to you guys is, at this point, in this climate of Raw that we're about to walk into, who do you think is the fourth man?
I knew you were going there, Grun. You always give us these puzzlers.
Does it have to be a man?
No.
Okay.
I think he's got his pick.
I'm between two because anything else would be a wild one to me.
Okay.
And Bronson Reed came out of nowhere for me. So
Yeah.
it could be another wild one, and it could keep the theme of big, strong boys around Seth Rollins, in which case you could pick any big, strong boy and it would work. But to me, the last one has to be shocking.
Yes.
Or it has to be obvious. Because if it's obvious, it's like, oh, that makes sense, this motherfucker. But if it's shocking, it also gets people talking. And I feel like if you're going to add a fourth one, at that point, you're running up the score.
Yeah.
I'm between Becky Lynch, and I hate to say this one because I also think he's better used elsewhere, especially for a final John Cena run that's heel. But Sami Zayn. Because
Zayn
to
would be
me,
interesting.
the reason why I don't like Zayn, because who's due for a call-up is another question. There's plenty of people down there that could come up for a call-up and make sense. You want to put big, strong people around him. Don't put Jordynne Grace on SmackDown. Put her with Rollins. And I think that's more shocking than a Becky Lynch would be.
Damn, that would
agree.
be insane.
It would be
And
cool.
Paul Heyman would manage the shit out of Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
Be the first Heyman girl.
Yep.
I think a lot of women want to be the first Paul Heyman girl.
They do. Becky Lynch makes sense to me, especially with how the match is set up. Sami Zayn, I don't want to see do it. I think it would be shocking, but I think he's better utilized. I know I've been hearing you yell about it, Annie, from the other room. But Sami, to me, if I had to fantasy book who to take the title from Cena, it would be Sami for his first title run. And that's where I want him to be. But that's a heart booking decision, not a head.
So here
Yeah.
is the thing. Seth Rollins, I think he can take the group and turn them babyface. He's by the time look, Seth Rollins is looking to save pro wrestling. That is their underlying motive. They're looking to save it and better the future, preserve it.
Okay.
So why wouldn't they see John Cena leaving the WWE with the WWE in this undisputed WWE Championship? Why wouldn't they see that as a threat? Seth Rollins.
I agree with that, but it's always going to be Rollins in the position of power because that's who he is. It won't be Zayn to go for the title then.
But if I'm Rollins, I'm thinking Sammy's never won the undisputed WWE Championship, never won a world title on the main roster. Seth Rollins, his goal is, he says, no, my goal is the World Heavyweight Championship because that title needs love, that title needs care. I can give it that for when I battle Braun Breaker, for when I battle Bronson Reed. If one of them are capable of beating me, then I know I've done my job. And Sammy, your job is to save pro wrestling. I can see Seth Rollins cutting that promo. People,
I can see the mass populace being confused as shit too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And they will not follow that story.
No, I think people will follow it because you know what? Seth Rollins he's not talking like he's a villain. He's talking as if everything he's doing is for the betterment of pro wrestling.
But he views himself as the savior of that, though, and the people around him are helpful.
Yeah,
and that's been the key to this. It's not that Sammy, and I also don't think changing them face would just kill it. It would kill it dead in the water by the end of the year. Because you got a limited timeline for Cena, and you got a lot of mileage out of this group.
I agree, but I think that there is a way because Seth
there's
Rollins,
certainly a way if they want to not make money.
Kevin is not buying this, Greg. No matter how you spin this fantasy, he is not buying this one.
Look, I have faith that Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins are devious, conniving masterminds that could scam a homeless man out of his last nickel.
Okay, in that scenario, let me give you a similar scenario then that has happened in the past, to an extent, I guess. Evolution. Randy Orton won that title back from Benoit, and then what happened like the next night on Raw?
Yeah, you got the
boot. If that's the case, it would need to be made apparent, and Sammy couldn't be full heel throughout any of this, and it can't be the whole group that turns. It has to be apparent that Sammy's getting led on, and then he wins. And then if that's the case, I'd have Rollins win the briefcase, because at that point, Sammy beats Cena, and then Rollins beats Sammy immediately in the same night, and that's your Mania main event.
It wouldn't be
it's
Mania.
It couldn't be. It's almost on the same wavelength of when Mankind won the world title and DX turned on him.
Yep.
I like that because I think we can do something like that where we have. I like that idea of the group that Seth is with. They're just basically blindsiding Sami Zayn after Sami Zayn has the accomplishment of what he desires. And I do like the element of where Grun's coming from with the Seth wanting to save professional wrestling, because I think that has meat on it. Because even if he does save it from John Cena, he can legitimately go, well, that's not the end. All of these people are also trying to take away the thing I love. And then he can just go down this list and become this, overreacting leader in which creates his own downfall.
You know what? I could even see them, if they play out the way that we just fantasy booked in our heads. And Sami Zayn was the person he won it from in a Money in the Bank cash-in after he beats John Cena in like one of his final appearances.
Okay.
Because in this scenario, I'd have Sammy beat him in like the last 1 to 2 appearances. Like Cena's about to be out the door, but Sammy saves us.
Okay.
And then it gets taken away from us. Seth can walk out the next week and claim that he already saved pro wrestling. Because now, once he claims that he saved pro wrestling, who did he save it from? He didn't save it from Cena. He didn't save us from it leaving there. Someone already did that.
I like that layer. I think we're hitting on something that we definitely have to put a pin in. Maverick, what's up?
What up, Maverick?
Salazar. Just letting you know, we're about ready to wrap it up. We have 8 minutes before Raw goes live on Netflix. But this was definitely a different type of Raw preview review show. There was a lot of heat at the beginning. There was even some more heat when Grun's trying to feed us this malarkey.
It ain't malarkey.
It's not. It's your fantasy booking. I understand that, and it's possible. It could possibly happen.
There's always a way to make it work. It's just how many moving pieces do you want to move around?
Exactly. Grun likes to pet goldfish at his local pet store. What a weirdo.
Thing?
It sounds like a thing.
I never did that.
Our longest running fan, Ken. How are you doing, Ken? The UP. There, that's my boy. Yes, Kevin is the baby boy of Ken, and we love it. Ken is one of our longest supporters of the Raw preview show.
I don't just quick before we outro, Maverick's comment there.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
When you guys were speaking of the who's due up, I was thinking Oba coming into that group.
I just don't. So the key to that is I don't know who takes the title from him and who's ready for that.
Yeah, that's the one
I think is the bigger issue.
Yeah. So until that is, I think that would be a really cool introduction for him to the main roster.
I think one way you could do it. This is just throwing it out there. Trick Williams has a TNA title right now. Have a guy from TNA win the NXT title. Doesn't matter if it's Hendry. Could be Mike Santana.
I think that's a great idea. And Nick,
then you
thank
have
you
TNA
for stopping
there.
in with us.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
And thank you for enjoying the show. We will get you on here one time when there's...
We have before.
We'll have you back on. Don't worry. There will be confrontation. You can have all you want. But for right now, guys, let's let them know where they can find us and find you guys and see what you're doing. I know there's going to be some gaming in the future. Kevin, you just announced on your Facebook that you're getting back into the game. So
I did.
Let them know where they can find you guys.
All right. You can find me as always on at Kevin Kalloway on Facebook and Kalloway Kevin on Instagram. And now I am proud to double announce, I guess, because I already put it up there. I'll be streaming this week. I'm trying out morning slots this week because it works out better for my schedule right now. So I'm going to be going live at around 9 or 10 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. And I'm playing a little bit of Diablo 4. I want to get to that Paragon level 20 and get my cat pet, damn it. So I'm going for that. And then we'll see. I'm going to announce the schedule every week because it's going to go based on what I have to do for business meetings for other wrestling endeavors. I am unfortunately a much more busy man these days. So it is what it is.
It happens. And we'll be looking forward to, sharing out your stuff and stopping in and seeing what you're doing on your stream. Grunmeister, tell them where they can find your ridiculous takes and your fucking blue eyes of villainous.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Grunmeister. And I do want to say there is some breaking news. Merriam-Webster has updated their definition of legend and replaced it with a picture of R-Truth. They actually commented on R-Truth's post and put definition of legend. The link to their definition of legend.
I love it. The fans are going to get R-Truth back on your TV screens quicker than ever, fans. And you better watch out because he's coming for you. Grun, did you tell him where to find you on your Grun's room?
Yeah, the Grun's room every Friday Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, where I talk SmackDown, WWE, and pro wrestling.
I don't. Sometimes, Grun, I take substances and my brain doesn't work. So
Don't
you
worry,
might have said it.
I don't.
You know.
And yeah, I don't take substances, and sometimes my brain don't work.
Well, that's the Philly in you. But outside of that, fans, so if you enjoyed what you've seen here and all the chaos that we have, we are the Window Lickers. We are also in your house, and we love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us and being a part of our whatever you want to call this. We call it fun and we call it a good time. So we're glad that you enjoyed it. That's every 7 p.m. on a Monday. You can catch this show. It's not always like this, but sometimes pretty much like this. So come be a part of it every Monday at 7 p.m. Outside of that, you can catch me on a Thursday where me and House we get extreme. And this week, guys, is an exciting night. Well, it's exciting and it's kind of it's going to be a very emotional time again. We have the one, the only Josh Greenberg, who is the agent, lawyer, co-host, and most of all, Sabu's friend over the past few years, is joining us for an ECW Sabu tribute show. There is going to be some information that he does have on a lot of this stuff. The goal of the show is to honor the legend that we lost and the man that we all love and just wish we had for one more week if we could. That we're looking to bury a lot of those people who were clickbaiting to get onto the story, to things like that. We will have a lot of information, facts, that Josh Greenberg, also he's given me the privilege to do this with House. Yeah, we're going to put to rest a lot of the nonsense that's been said about this legend that we absolutely love, adore, and care about. So that's 5 p.m. this Thursday. Please be there and please give all your energy. We want to hear anything you have to say. There's a possibility Kevin might be joining us. So it's going to be an amazing time. We hope you guys all join us to have some fun. Outside of that, there's a Sunday house party that we do, and we do it every Sunday. It's usually around noon, sometimes 12:30. I think we might be going a little earlier, starting up, but we want you to be there. We want you to be in the house party. We want to hear what you have to say. That's when anybody who's a part of IYH is around and ready. We get on there and we talk the past week of wrestling, and we have a fun time. Last week was an amazing time. We discussed NBA. We discussed the wrestling. We discussed a lot of things. Our Pacers are in the finals. So House and Jones and me are going to be talking a lot about this coming up on the following podcast, because this is definitely a once in our lifetimes, to where we see a team that actually could win the title for Indiana. So we're excited about that, but we're excited about all the things happening here on IYH, and we want you to be a part of it. So come out and check us out. We also have the Raw Deal with House and O'Neill. That's every Wednesday, usually midday. I think they go around anywhere from 4 to 5 is usually when they go live. Go catch them out there. Go catch me out there on Instagram. I got my first one, so go be a part of it and see what we have. We already have one video up there. You can have fun with that one. It's for the Window Lickers promotion, so come join us. Come be a part of it, and we cannot wait until we see you next time. So fans, for me, for Kevin, for Grun, for everybody in IYH, we absolutely love you, and we cannot wait for next week.
Taking over the town, picking windows, they ain't got a clue. We the windows.